to two of our programs. Our first being our professional women's group. If you are not a member, I absolutely encourage you to become one. Membership is free, and it's a network of like-minded women who encourage and support each other on our professional journeys. And there's also a great opportunity to receive a lot of professional, personal development, even leadership skills through that program. You can complete an application on our website, and I'll give you the address here in a moment. And also, if you are in need of a mentor, I know it's a little, we're in uncharted times, but we are going to move forward with our Women to Women program. Not sure what that's going to look like just yet, but we're going to figure it out, and we're going to roll out an amazing cohort that will start shortly. So if you would like a mentor, you can visit our website at www.dfscolumbus.org, and you can submit and you can complete an application for either professional women's group or women to women. And now what we're all here for is to hear Craig's amazing presentation on adult degree completion. I'm going to ask all of you to please mute yourselves if you haven't done so already. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. I will keep a running list of all of your questions and pass them over to Craig once he's run through all the slides.
That's great.
What, does everyone hear that noise?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't hear it anymore. I'm gonna I'm muting myself now and passing the Zoom.
There's a little feedback there. It might be from the whoever's on the phone. It's gone away. So, all right. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay, loud and clear. First of all, I'd just like to say I'm happy to be here today and to connect with all of you. I know I was scheduled to come in person last week, and obviously this has been a very kind of trying time for everybody these last few weeks. And actually, we're just finishing our second week right now at Capitol, of all the kind of the staff and employees working from home, and we're trying to do what we can to take care of our current students and faculty and families. And so I'm grateful for platforms like this so we can still connect with each other. And so what I wanted to do today was just share with you some information on Capitol and our adult degree completion program. I know some of you may have some interest in potentially continuing your education, and whether that's at Capitol, that's great, but just in general, hopefully this will provide some good information. And I'll be available, like I said, at the end of the session if you have certain questions about our program or just generally what it entails to continue your education, either for a bachelor's degree or master's degree. I can certainly answer all those for you. So I currently serve at Capitol as the Director of Adult Graduate and Seminary Admissions. I have been at Capitol since, in this role since 2010, and have worked predominantly with our adult degree population. So I do have some slides that go through, hopefully you're all able to see here. So give me 1 second. There we go. Yeah. So what I wanted to just do today is just kind of provide a basic introduction to Capitol for those of you who are not familiar with the university, to talk about the structure of our adult degree completion program and how it is different and unique versus what our traditional full-time students experience, and then go through the general admission process, and then talk about cost and financial aid of going back to college and ways to make that an affordable option. And again, like I said, as I go through this session, as you have questions that come up, feel free to type into the chat icon, and we'll answer those at the conclusion of this presentation. So So for those of you who are not familiar with Capitol, we're located in Bexley, just obviously a few miles east of downtown. Bexley is a beautiful community, and for those of you, I'm sure most of you have been at some point, but it's got you know, a lot of great little, you know, restaurants and shops, and the Drexel Art Deco movie theater, which is right across the street from our campus, and so it's a really great idyllic setting to have a campus. You know, most of our students at Capitol on our main campus are traditional full-time students that are taking classes full-time during the day, and many of which are living on campus. But we have had an adult program since the late 70s. So we have for many, many years had a specific program for working adults or non-traditional students for them to help earn their bachelor's degree. We used to have actually a center in Cleveland and Dayton as well for many years, and those closed down around 2007, 2008. But we still have a lot of history, and we're really one of the first you know, main institutions in Central Ohio to really develop I think, opportunity in a curriculum for adult learners. So, you know, for folks looking to come back and earn their bachelor's degree, you know, they ask the question, you know, what makes Capitol so unique, and why it's a great fit for many adult students. And first of all, I think it is, we have just amazing faculty who have a lot of experience, I think, working with students that have a lot of life and professional experiences, and understand that, you know, what you can contribute to the classroom, the discussion, and to just the overall campus environment is really valuable and useful. And so they're incredibly supportive and understand that your experiences, you know, that you have different challenges than what our students out of high school are experiencing. And so I think they're very supportive and really working with our adult learners and being and making sure that they are successful, and trying to work with you as kind of, if life things happen, you know, whether it's family situations or financial hardships or you know, loss of income, or whatever that may be. They provide a support system to really work with all of our students to make sure that you are successful. And to that point, you know, the nice thing is that everybody at Capitol, all of the students are assigned to a personal academic advisor within your particular area, your major of study. And that is a kind of a contact person, a faculty member who will be your main go-to person throughout your time at the university. That can help you, you know, make sure that you're taking the right classes each semester, that you're prepared for the timeline in which you want to graduate and finish your degree, and can provide recommendations on, you know, a sequence of courses to take, and ways to maybe look for, you know, additional financial assistance. And then really there to kind of help you with that next step, if that's going to be going on to graduate school or looking for a certain job, to be someone who can write a recommendation for you and kind of help connect you to that path that of your choosing. So that's a really valuable thing to have an actual professor, faculty member that's assigned to you as your permanent advisor at Capitol. And then, you know, with our institution, we have about 2,400 traditional undergraduate students, which means our classes are very small and intimate. We're looking at about 20 to 25 students per class. Pretty much the most you'll ever have is 30. And on some occasions, you may have classes as small as 10 students or less. And so it provides, I think, a really healthy environment for you. You don't feel like you're overwhelmed or intimidated by being in a lecture hall of 200 students. And so you have a chance to really, I think, feel like you can add to the classroom discussion and get to know your other classmates and faculty members. And so it makes it, I think, a much more engaging educational environment when you have these smaller class sizes that aren't too overwhelming. And then we also provide really wonderful support services to our students. We have what we call our academic success office, and they provide you know, tutoring services to all of our students. It's free of charge, and our students are able to meet with our adult learners when it's convenient for you. If that means evenings or weekends, they can do that. And we have a writing center as well, that where we have students that can help if you have a massive paper you have to write for a particular class and wanted some help on organizing your thoughts or citing certain materials. They can kind of provide best practices and really work with you to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. And so in addition to that, we also have a wonderful career development center, which is another, it's an office that can help students, you know, kind of redesign your resume. I know this organization provides a lot of support in terms of, you know, job interview skills and whatnot. So it could be another service to supplement what you're already receiving here, but it's another you know, service to our students free of charge as part of being a Capitol student. And then finally, with our adult degree program, what we really provide is a lot of flexible scheduling, instructional delivery, which means that as an adult learner at Capital through our program, you can take as many or as few classes as you want per semester. There's no requirement for you to take to be full-time. And so many of our students, if they're working or have obligations during the day, will just feel comfortable taking maybe 1 or 2 classes at a time. That's comfortable for them, and that's what they feel like they can manage along with their family obligations and their professional obligations. And so whatever that may be. And so you have that flexibility of going at your own pace. We do offer classes all year long, fall, spring, and summer semester. So you can enroll and whenever you want, and certainly take a semester or 2 off if you need to. There's a lot of flexibility in terms of when you're starting and stopping. And finally, instructional flexibility. We do offer a wide variety of courses in different formats. And so we do have quite a few evening courses that are available that would meet usually once a week from like 6 until 9 o'clock. Some of those meet every week, and some of those are hybrid where they meet once every 2 weeks, and there might be an online component to that course. We offer some purely online classes, and we're starting to offer more of those, especially right now. We were, all classes for the remainder of the semester have obviously been forced to go online, and we are planning on offering all our classes this summer online as well. So we are seeing more and more online coursework that's being introduced. And then we have classes that meet during the day as well, that might meet Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for an hour, or Tuesday and Thursday for an hour and 20 minutes or so. So there's a lot of different options for courses to take, and that hopefully can fit your schedule, whether it's if you have daytime or evening availability. We have a lot of flexibility in that regard. So with our program, you know, at Capital in general, if you were just looking as a full-time traditional student, you'd have to choose from 60 different majors. But through our adult degree completion program, we do offer a select number of programs of which you can pursue. So we do offer a degree in business management, criminology, interdisciplinary studies, psychology, social work, and sociology. Social work is probably our most popular adult program. We have a lot of folks that will transfer from Columbus State Community College or Sinclair in Dayton or Clark State up in Springfield for that program. That's always been a big one for us. Interdisciplinary studies is a self-designed program. So that's kind of a very unique, we allow students to kind of create their own major. They can select 2 academic concentrations of their choosing, if any 2 they want. So if they wanted to combine political science with communications or business with social sciences, they can do that and take about 18 credit hours in each of those 2 disciplines. And that would eventually culminate in kind of a final capstone project or a senior thesis of some sort. And so and for students who maybe took a lot of college classes in the past in a particular area, they can apply that credit towards this degree as well. So it's a very flexible program that we're really trying to emphasize now for students, that they kind of really cherry pick the courses that are of interest to them to kind of create their own degree. But you know, business management, we have a fantastic business program at Capital, and we have an MBA program. And so that's a very generalist business program where you take classes in accounting and finance and marketing and management and operations. And so it kind of gives you a good overview of how a business operates. And then, you know, criminology and sociology, a lot of times students will kind of combine those 2 majors because there's a lot of overlap in those courses there. And then the psychology major is a great kind of stepping stone if you want to go on to graduate school. It's a very popular option for that. And then finally, on the right, you see it says non-degree option. We do have a post-degree education licensure program. So for students who earn a bachelor's degree that then want to go on to earn their teaching license, they can come back and they can satisfy the requirements to earn a teaching license for either early childhood, middle childhood, or ages 7 through 12. And so it's another program that we offer to students at Capital. And certainly, if you have specific questions about any of these majors, I don't want to spend too much time on each one, considering who's in the audience. But yeah, you can feel free to type in those questions in the chat box. I'll answer those at the conclusion of the session. So for us, and just as pretty common for most colleges, you know, what you have to complete in order to earn your bachelor's degree. And for us, first of all, we call general education requirements, or we call them now signature learning classes. every university essentially has a series of these courses that everybody has to complete regardless of what major they pursue. So with us, we want to make sure you've taken like a writing course, an oral communication class, a cultural diversity course, some math and sciences and humanities. We feel like that is really makes you a well-rounded student and exposes you, I think, to different areas for critical thinking. And so those are all requirements that students have to complete at some point before they graduate. And that's usually the common at any institution that you're looking at. And then certainly you'll have classes within your particular major, which means that, like if you're business or social work, there'll be specific courses in those areas that you have to complete in order to satisfy the requirements. And then we require a total of 124 semester hours in order to earn your bachelor's degree. Most colleges are pretty common, and some colleges require 122 hours, some require like close to 130. We require 124. So that just means that, if you complete all of your general education requirements and all the courses within your major, if you're still short of 124 hours, you have to fill that in with elective courses. Or, at Capital, we provide opportunities for adult students to receive credit for life experiences as well. We have a kind of a portfolio process that adult students can go through where they can just submit some supporting documentation on why they think they should, their experiences or training should be equated to college credit. And that's a way in order to potentially get some college credit without actually having to take any classes. And then the final thing is, and again, most colleges have what we call a residency requirement, which means that we require students to complete 30 of their final 36 hours at Capital to earn a degree. The reason for that is just because we feel like if we're going to be issuing you a degree, we want to make sure you've had so many courses at Capital to feel like we can, provide that stamp. And so what that means is that if you have several hours to complete to get to 124, you have the flexibility of transferring in coursework from like Columbus State if you wanted to. If you were looking to save some money, there's some options there as long as you complete your final 30 hours with us. So when it comes to the general admission requirements, for Capital, we just require students to apply online. It's free to apply online. It's a very easy application. You want to just select the one for bachelor's degree completion for our adult learners. We typically require students to be at least 24 years of age. We can make exceptions on that based upon if a student's under 24, but really could benefit from more of our flexible scheduling format because of either work obligations or family obligations. We can make exceptions to that. But the main reason why we selected 24 is because in order to file the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, as an independent student, you have to be at least 24 years of age, be married, or have a child. So that's kind of why we have that requirement there. And then in terms of being considered for admission, we also want to see students probably have at least 30 semester hours of college credit with a minimum 2.5 grade point average. Sometimes we can make exceptions on that. If a student, we always come across students that maybe went to Ohio State, for example, and maybe weren't quite ready to jump into their studies and maybe struggled the first couple of semesters, but then which brought down their GPA, but were able to kind of bring it up a little bit towards the end. So we just want to make sure there's some evidence that a student can be successful in our program. So we can sometimes look at we take a very holistic approach when it comes to admission and really want to see that the student is a good fit to be successful at Capital. And for students who don't have any college credit, we can make an admission decision based upon a student's high school GPA. So that certainly is an option. Sometimes I would recommend to some students that they would maybe look at starting off at Columbus State Community College if they don't have any college credit, just in order to get their kind of feet wet, get used to the college course experience, and to take advantage of their lower tuition rate. And then finally, we just require, in addition to the actual application itself, that students send us their official college transcripts. And so it means the school has to send us the transcript directly, either mailed to us, or now most schools offer the option to have transcripts sent electronically. So those would be the two options to have those sent to our admissions office. And then at that point, we can make an admission decision. And, we don't require an admission interview, but it's certainly recommended. I love to really connect with students if I can, either in person or virtually through Zoom, just to kind of go through your transcripts and the requirements, and just to make sure that you understand, the structure of the program and know what it's going to look like for you to finish your degree with us. And so that's something I always am available to meet with students at any time, and I definitely highly recommend that as part of the admission process. And then For those that we have certain application deadlines, and so for students looking to apply for summer semester, we April 15th is our deadline for summer term. July 15th is our deadline for fall semester, and December 1st is our deadline for spring of 2021. So those are things that we try to adhere to in order to get materials in enough time to get you registered and ready to go for the following term. And so when it comes to, I know a big consideration for many students is, the cost factor. And I think, Capital being a private institution, there's, I think, a sense that we're not affordable because we are a private school. And typically private schools, the tuition cost is a little more than what you would pay at a state institution. But the good thing about our adult degree program is that we provide a very discounted tuition rate. So our traditional full-time students that will, be going full-time in the fall and spring during the day, they pay a tuition rate of about $38,000 a year. If you break it down per credit hour, assuming students were taking around 15 credit hours a semester, it ends up being about, $1,265 per credit hour. Through the adult degree completion program, we only charge per credit hour, and we charge $494 a credit hour. So it's a huge kind of savings and discount on what our full-time students have to pay. And it's the same benefit. It's the same degree, the same courses, the same services. It's just that, many of our adult learners aren't able to spend as much time on campus. They're not here as much because they either have obligations or they're working full-time. And so they're not utilizing as many resources. And so it allows us to kind of provide the education at a lower cost benefit. And actually, we just announced yesterday that we are also able to offer even more discounted tuition rate for our adult degree social work students. So those students starting in the summer semester now only have to pay $417 a credit hour to finish their degree. So that is a huge benefit for those students to be able to utilize their financial aid to cover their full cost of tuition. So in addition to the tuition cost itself, we do offer a variety of deferred payment plans where students can make payments over a period of or over a series of months if need be, rather than paying it in one lump sum. And if any students receiving an employer tuition reimbursement, we accept that as well. But most of our adult students will receive financial aid through the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. Typically, we would need to file the FAFSA and enter in Capital School Code, and we would be able to receive your information and then send our students a financial aid award, letting them know what they're eligible for. And for students who are at least 24 years of age, typically students are eligible to borrow in loans about $12,500 in an academic year, and then potentially could be eligible for additional federal Pell Grants or something called the Ohio College Opportunity Grant, which is free money you don't have to pay back. It's based upon financial need. And so a combination of the loans and those grants are enough to cover the cost of tuition, so students don't have to worry about, in most cases, having to pay anything out of pocket to continue their education and earn their degree at Capital. And although we don't award any initial academic scholarships to students just because we provide a discounted cost up front, we have several endowed scholarships for current students. And so every fall semester, we will email all of our adult degree students, letting them know that there's an application out there that they can apply for. And I think last year we awarded about 6 or so kind of small scholarships that students were able to apply towards their spring semester tuition. So there are a lot of other options out there to bring that cost down even more to minimize sort of that student debt. And so, and that's really what I certainly very much sensitive to, the fact that this is such a big commitment, and many students have maybe gone to other colleges in the past and have borrowed student loans and are looking to minimize the cost as much as possible. And so, although we would certainly love for all of our students to take every last class at Capital, if there are opportunities for students to take classes elsewhere at a lower cost and transfer them into Capital, I am very open to and really want to help students, and so are our advisors, to making sure we put you in the best position to earn your degree, so you can take that next step in your career, and doing it really by minimizing the costs as much as possible. And so it's something that I think there are some institutions that really will be, I think, overly aggressive in wanting students to take every last credit hour with the school at the higher tuition rate. But I try to really be sensitive to the fact and work with students as much as possible to kind of find the most economical way for students to earn their bachelor's degree. So that is kind of just an overview in a nutshell of our adult degree program. I wanted to kind of, I figured tailor it towards any questions that you folks might have. And we do, in addition to having offering bachelor's degrees, we offer a variety of master's degrees as well at Capital. But I wanted to focus mostly on our adult degree program. So I think this is a great chance to maybe potentially answer questions that you may have at this point.
There are a few questions, Craig.
Oh, great, great.
Thanks so much for your information. Capital's adult degree completion program really sounds like you are putting students on a track to I can't say success, right?
Success, yeah.
Successfully complete the coursework needed to obtain their degree. I'm gonna mute my real quick. Okay, so my son, and if you hear him in the background, my apologies.
That's okay, bro. Yeah.
Our first question, all the majors in the adult degree completion program, they are all considered undergrad, correct?
Yes, those
Okay.
I mentioned were all undergraduate. We do offer a variety of, so the graduate programs we offer, obviously we have our law school in downtown Columbus, which people are very familiar with when they think of Capital, they think of our law school. But the programs on our main campus are graduate programs. We offer an MBA, a Master's of Business Administration. We offer a Master's of Arts and Education with a focus on school administration, teaching, and we have a school counseling and clinical counseling program as well, which those two you can enter and write by having a bachelor's degree. We also offer a Master's of Music and Music Education. And for nursing, we have a accelerated BSN program for students who already have a bachelor's degree that want to get their nursing degree. We have a kind of 20-month accelerated program for students to earn their degree in nursing. And then we also have a Master's of Science in Nursing for those who already have their nursing license, and then a Doctorate of Nursing Practice. And then finally, we have our Trinity Lutheran Seminary is also kind of under the umbrella. We offer some programs through our seminary as well. So those are the main graduate programs that are offered currently at Capital. And we are hopeful to be launching a Master's of Social Work here maybe next summer. Is kind of we're hoping for that as well. Oh, I think you're muted there, Richard.
I am, thank you. Caleb, the next question is, do you consider foreign college transcripts in foreign languages?
Good question. Yeah, so we can accept international transcripts. We typically require those to be submitted through, it's called a World Education Services evaluation. There's it's wes.org. It's an accrediting body that will evaluate international transcripts and then send it to us and let us know what the equivalency would be to the US semester system. So it'll let us know how many credit hours a student has and what their grades were. And that's what we would need in order to evaluate those transcripts. And so absolutely, we can accept those transcripts. We just have to have the student submit it through that third-party organization to evaluate that, and then they will send us their assessment accordingly. So it does cost a fair amount of money to do. I think it's like, I don't know, maybe 60 or 70 bucks. And so the student will have to have their official transcripts sent to this organization, this World Education Services. They will do the evaluation and they'll give us their results usually like a week or so later.
Are there any other questions?
Bridget, I don't have a question, but I just wanted to remind everybody of our other community partner scholarship, Opportunities for Success.
Yes, yeah.
Who has, they came in and Craig, I am hoping that you might be able to provide more information. They're a new partner of ours that came into the Career Center in February and provided information on how to apply for these scholarships. And I believe their next round was opening March 31st, which is next Tuesday. For that, you'll find out scholarships that they will award in May. And I know that Capital is one of their partners as well, Craig. And if you have more information, that'd be great. Yeah, so that's actually, we've had Capital students pretty much every year receive it. I know they provide scholarships for like women who live in Franklin County
that living, I guess, with high financial need, living near the poverty level is my sort of the criteria. But there is an application that that I think is due by an end of April or May, and it provides like a up to like a $5,000 scholarship every year, and so it's a great opportunity. You have to be, I think, enrolled full time at a university, or at least admitted to a university. But it is. It's been a wonderful resource for our students, and I think there's, they really encourage capital students to apply for these scholarships. And so I think sometimes students just to figure, oh, I can't apply, I'll never be considered. There's too much competition. But we've had students every year be eligible. So I really encourage anybody to consider that option, because it's been a wonderful benefit and a resource for many of our students to get some extra money to help kind of bring that cost down and help them earn their degree. And you can receive that scholarship, in multiple years as well. So it's a great organization, and it's something that I really encourage students to look into.
Awesome. Yeah, I know that when we talked to some of the recipients, they received the full $5,000 every year. So they're a really great group, and we'll be sure to send that information out again to everybody to everybody as well, and really encourage everybody to sign up. Do you, Craig, have any other suggestions on scholarship opportunities that you are familiar with, or that might be a great fit for these awesome ladies?
We have it. It's that is a main one I know of, that local one. There are we actually have kind of a on our adult degree page, kind of a website which lists kind of like a series of scholarships that in the past that we felt like were a good fits for adult learners and adult students. And so I recommend kind of visiting that particular site. I would say that obviously there's a couple ones through the Columbus Foundation, I believe. The one you just mentioned is the most popular scholarship that our students do receive, but there is a lot of money out there. And so FastWeb, I think, is a search engine you can use online to search for different scholarships as well. And so and we just find that, if you take the time and the effort to do the research and we're willing to submit applications, there is a lot of money that's out there. It's just, I think that students just feel like, wow, there's going to be too much competition. And sometimes these major companies or organizations have just earmark so much money to send out, and you may be the only person that actually applies. And so I would just recommend that to really take the time to just look online. And there's like a scholarship book. You can, usually your local library should have some access to that as well, that you can look through, that will kind of divvy up scholarships by state or by certain criteria. And so those are some resources that we have. But our website does have a few listing of additional scholarships that could be a good fit for many of our adult students. And so that would be a good place to start.
Thanks, Craig. I have two more questions. I'll start with the first.
Sure.
If you could provide some insight, what are some challenges that you've seen adult learners experience within the program at Capital?
Absolutely. So I think it's just navigating I think sometimes the balancing of the rigor of the program. For many students, if it's been a while since they've taken a college class, of kind of getting back into the swing of things, and just I think being able to do the work. There are obviously certain times of the term when, you get close to midterms or final exams where I think the workload can really increase. And so depending upon the student situation, if they're have a lot of work obligations or family obligations that get in the way of just making sure that they maintain that. And so that can be certainly a challenge, just getting used to balancing all the responsibilities of schoolwork and then personal and personal life. And so, but that's why we have our faculty there for. That's why we have those resources there. And so I have found that it's just the students that are continuing, if they're just able to show up and do the work, that they are able to be successful. It's just we have some students that if they just stop showing up for class because they get overwhelmed and aren't really communicating to faculty about their struggles, there's not much we can do for those students. But for the ones that are in communication, that are willing to show up and do the work, our faculty are incredibly supportive in that regard. So I think that can be certainly a challenge a lot of students will face, is just kind of getting used to that balance of balancing all the obligations you have in your life and maintaining excellence academically. But that's why we have those services there, our support services, to help students through those difficult times. Yeah, I mean, I think there's just always going to be certain classes that are very challenging for students. I know that taking a math class, maybe I know for a lot of our students is kind of a scary situation. And so, but we have some really wonderful faculty that work extremely well with our adult students and are very patient. And I think I try to frame the course in a way that makes it much easier for students to understand and digest. And so I think it's just, alleviating some of the fear and just moving forward and taking advantage of the support that we have really enables folks to be successful. And the faculty advisor as well is a great contact to kind of help you through your time and your struggles and kind of get you in the right direction, make sure that you are heading towards your long-term goal, whether it's earn a degree to advance your career or earn a degree so you can go on to get a graduate degree or whatever that may be. First and foremost, it's just, I know it's a big step to do this, to go back to school and finish a bachelor's degree or finish a master's degree. And so we want to be supportive in any way that we can and give you the tools to be successful. I think that's always been my stance. And so I don't consider myself to be somebody who's very, if you want an investigator, capital, I just would love to, sit down and not be somebody who's going to be overly aggressive or pushy. I just want to be able to, it's more important that our students are able to continue their education so they can advance their career. And so any information I can provide to support our adult students to help them be successful, that's what I want to do. And I think our students really appreciate that support they get from everybody here at the Capital community.
Sounds amazing. The next question is there a way to get in touch with a counselor before registering to navigate the whole process from converting your foreign transcripts to applying for financial aid? I do understand that the student will have to pay that fee you mentioned, but as they go through that process in applying to Capital, is there maybe a counselor they could be connected to?
That's actually going to be me. I work with all of our adult degree students. And so I will go ahead and my information is right here again. So my email address is just csoul@capital.edu. And this is my office number. Well, I guess it's it goes. I get if you call that number, I get it on my computer. So, but yeah, I would be the person that anybody can reach out to just to explore. If they want to get some information sent to them, or just explore the option of you can send me unofficial transcripts. I'm happy to take a look at those and provide my assessment and provide kind of the next steps in the process of applying for financial aid, the admission process on our end, just to kind of give you all the information you need to move forward. So I'll be the person that you want to reach out to.
Ladies, do you have any other questions for Craig? The program sounds amazing, and I think I'll apply to complete my social work coursework.
There you go. That's right. And if it's a meeting if you want to chat with faculty or connect with another student, whatever the information you need to feel like you feel comfortable with your decision, just let me know. And I'd be happy to connect you to those resources. But yeah, I am always available to kind of just to have just investigate the option and talk about what it would look like. Like I said, I can do a preliminary evaluation of transcripts. If you want to just send me a copy of what you have via email, just to kind of get the conversation started, we can start with that. And in that way, you kind of know what it would entail for you to finish your degree with us. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Great.
Are we good with the questions then, Bridget?
I believe so. I don't see any more in the chat. Ladies, last call. Do you have any other questions?
And again, we'll be sure to send out the information about scholarship opportunities for success, along with Craig's information again. This was really fantastic, Craig. Thank you so much for all this great information.
Yeah.
And yeah, I saw you writing your notes.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to connect with all of you. Like I said, yeah, I'd be happy to chat with you at a later time if you would like to have get a little more information. So I'm happy to always come back at another time to provide and present again down the road. So this is really a wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Right.
Well, ladies, thank you. I hope to see you again next Friday here, Zooming with each other until we can see each other again face to face.
So 2:30 next Friday for the interviewing for success. We'll see you guys then.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much. All right.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you. No problem.